Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Abigail if you're new, and I was born with a rare birth defect that affects my size and development. And recently, I have been asked the question multiple times if I can do more videos specifically about my disability, kind of how it affects me as a special needs adult, and kind of like what my life is like. um, Being born with such a rare birth defect, um, it can be hard because there's not a lot of people that know about it. Um, it it does affect my growth and development, but like it also affects my insides. Um, like the last, not the not the last surgery I had, because the last surgery I had was my feeding tube surgery, but the surgery that I had before that one, um, it was basically a fail because um, basically we were trying to, if I remember right, we were trying to fix a hernia. And whenever the surgeon went in there to pull down my stomach, um, my other insides had like sewn themselves together and was trying to come with it, and they found that too dangerous. So I ended up having a feeding tube surgery. But anyway, um, my birth defect can make things like, I don't know, surgeries difficult. Um, and just not a lot of people know about my birth defect. And that can be kind of scary when you're dealing with a birth defect that not a lot of people know about. And like I said, it affects my insides. Like some of my, like, from like my last surgery, if I understood this right, some of my insides had like sewn themselves together, and my hernia wasn't able to get fixed. So I have gastroparesis from my previous surgery, which is where a nerve was hit in my stomach and partially paralyzed it. I also have a hernia, and so I don't know. I've been kind of down like a roller coaster of all kinds of health stuff. But um I wanted to talk about more on like what my life is like as a special needs adult. Um some people with my disability are mildly affected, and some people are extremely affected. I'm more on the severe end of that spectrum. Um I was on oxygen for a long time as a baby, and that caused developmental delays. And um, so now, as a special needs adult, um, like, I don't drive, I don't work. Like, I don't have a go-to job. I mean, I do YouTube, that's a job in itself, but I don't have like a go-to job. Um, I don't drive, but I have plenty of people in my life that do. Um, there's there's several reasons why I don't. I sometimes have a hard time with focus, which would be make it hard to drive and dangerous. I also have anxiety, so like um I feel like cars like coming my direction would probably really bother me. Like me riding in a car is fine, but I think me like being in charge of driving a car would make me feel very overwhelmed. Um and then there's, the aspects of um like developmentally I wouldn't be able to pass the driver's test. And this is not like feel bad for me kind of video. This is just kind of trying to explain how I'm affected as a special needs adult with the specific disability I have. Um, Now, as far as like having a go-to job, um, I am on disability, so it's not like a big deal. Um, I have worked at a daycare in the past. Um, and that was really fun. I did get paid, but it was you can get disability and still like get a certain amount of money, and they not like cut your check. So it was within the paying range of me not losing my disability and still being able to get a check, like a work check. Um, the specific daycare had where they had a helper and a teacher in the same room, so you had two different workers, and the helper wasn't like in charge of like teaching the kids or anything like that. I was just kind of like the extra person, helping with anything extra, helping getting the kids down for a nap, or helping pass out the snacks, those type of things. And it did give me a little extra money, to just kind of like have fun with, that kind of thing. Um, and it gave me something to do, for a few hours a day. It was from like 8 o'clock in the morning till about like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, I don't work there anymore. Um, just the person that used to be my boss quit working at that daycare, and I think they like hired new people and stuff like that. But that was that was before my feeding tube and all of that happened. Um, I did have digestion issues back then, but I was still able to eat by mouth back then. So it would be like way different now if I had a go-to job, which I actually I really enjoy um doing videos from home, um because just I don't know, there's just like so many things that I think if I did have a go-to job, it would be difficult because like my formula can go bad in the heat, and if I was at work several hours a day, like I would, you know, miss some of my feed. So um I'm fine with um doing something from home. Um Whenever I do get my disability check in, my mom does give me a certain percent of that per month. So it's like I get um so much of that check to like spend and stuff. Kind of like if I did have a job, it just gives me like some money to kind of I guess you say, feel more like an adult. I know I look like I'm like 15, but I'm actually 24. So um, that's one way that I basically get a little bit of money to, do whatever with. I also um, sell things. Um, right now it's been diamond paintings. I've been selling. They have where you can buy like on Amazon where you buy like a box of these different diamond paintings, and then the ones that I don't end up doing, I sell them and people buy them. So, I have a couple ways here and there of making some money, but um, basically all that to say, um, my birth defect or my disability does affect my life in different ways, but thankfully I do have a lot of support in my life. I have a lot of people in my life that drive, so I don't driving a car is not something that I'm concerned about. Like I said, I have different ways of that I make money. Um, I'm sorry, someone is doing fireworks outside. And so that's not a worry of mine. Um, so yeah, I hope you learned a little bit more about me. I hope that this video made sense. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what else you would like to know, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.